What's up?
So anyway, it's what's up, Bobby?
Yep.
How are we doing today, Bob?
Yeah, we're doing good.
We're doing good. We're holding in, holding the turn here.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful day today.
Gorgeous.
I thought we'd let people know. We used to film on Wednesdays, Wednesday nights. Now we film Thursday mornings to be even more current because our show comes on at 7.
We don't want to be a day late and a dollar short all the time. We would just be a dollar short this time.
So anyway, so we had a couple more COVID cases. So you're saying
we did an update yesterday with President of the Lincoln Health, Jim Donovan, which was a great interview, and he said we're holding strong, 15 cases. They've had no cases in the hospital yet. None in the nursing homes. He said we're still holding a turn. We're just waiting. We're ready. We're ready if there is a surge. We're a little antsy with the summer people coming in. We're a little nervous, like everybody is. But we're gonna, meet it head on. A great team. Great team. Everybody has been working extremely hard. Real proud of them, and thank you from us here at LCTV to all the folks at home. All the emergency care people. My goodness.
And Lincoln Health is short one more doctor because Dr. Don Gow has retired after 30 years. Yeah, the guy seemed to have kind of a silent career.
Well, I'm going to tell you a little something. My daughter, when she got out of nursing school, she did her like an internship at Miles, and when she got out of nursing school, Dr. Gow, she was so fond of him, he gave her first stethoscope.
Oh, wow.
So that's pretty.
Oh, that's special.
Pretty nice stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I think we mentioned last week that Kiev and Wabash was going to close for the season.
They're closed.
And they've gone public. Henry Kennedy made the statement that it's he's got to do it, and one of the quotes in here was, I said to Larry off camera, he says, "But there can't be any other way to ensure the kids' safety."
So sad. I mean, one of his quotes is so sad. Oh, yeah, there isn't.
Think about that.
And it's crazy.
There's no other way.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
100
How about
years.
the high schools?
Same deal.
Right here it says high school graduations. Lincoln and Wiscasset, they're planning in person. They're going to hold some type of a safety regulated in person.
Somebody from Wiscasset called me, and I can't remember her name, but she asked if we could do some kind of filming of it, which we're more than happy to do if we can, or put together some kind of a program to do that.
Booth Bay, they haven't made a decision yet. They're looking at a lot of options, and they haven't made really a decision on what they want to do.
Yeah. So.
And the oyster farms, of course, we know they're taking a hit because their business is
restaurant business.
So anyway, Jonathan Turcotte there, he's a manager down at Glidden Point, and he's saying he's had to be innovative, and they've got shipping orders, and
it's the same thing. Smokey and Kaylee have done it down at Pemquid Oyster. They've started like a little fish business there.
Glidden Point's they have an honor system where you come in, you take the oysters, you leave the money, and
everybody's happy. And Tidewater, they're working hard to ensure connectivity for the students and workers.
That is some kind of generous offering.
Sure is.
They're making sure that kids that need internet connections to continue their schoolwork are having it.
I tell you, Bobby, we in this area are so lucky to have a company like Tidewater that reaches out to the community, is part of the community. Compare the two companies between Tidewater and the other internet company, the cable company in this area. It's night and day.
Right.
It's night and day. You need something, you call Tidewater up, and they answer the phone, and in 2 seconds.
And the office is right on Route 1.
It is. If
right on over.
You got a problem, they'll call you back, or they'll work with you. You call that other cable company, and you don't ever hear from them. 30 minutes on the phone.
The other cool thing with Tidewater is you have an internet problem at 2:30 in the morning.
They fix it.
You can get help.
You can get somebody to help you
on the phone, a live person.
It's crazy. So we are very, very fortunate in this area to have a company is responsive and part of the community. They are good stuff.
Shauna Gatto, she's going
to stay where she is for the next 50 years.
Went for an appeal, and they were denied. The Supreme Court denied her appeal, and she's going to live out her 50-year sentence in Wyndham.
Yep. They had a Teacher Appreciation Week this past week. Pretty neat stuff. My son, I'll give you a little side story here. My son works for a WABI up in Bangor. And of course, he's a sports reporter, but there's no sports going on, so he's been doing news stories. He went down to Jonesport. This is such a cool story. A little girl down there didn't have internet down her road. And her teacher, I think she was probably 5th, 6th grade, her teacher went to the house, stood out on the porch with an easel like what we've got here, and did the class while the student was on the other side of the door receiving all the class instruction. Teacher, 30-year teacher, you know.
Wow.
You talk about going above and beyond.
Wow.
It was such a neat story. You can catch it on, anybody's interested, you can catch it on the internet, WABI, Brian Sidelinger story. It was really good stuff. I was really proud of him. It was good stuff. He said, Dad, you got to see this one.
King Ida's, they did a nice thing. They opened up the restaurant for their staff and family, and a picture of Todd there. He's got a new smoker, I guess, and he
looks like it.
Yeah, he made out of an oil drum. So anyway, they had a nice little party for their employees.
Now, got a smokestack from a lobster boat.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, Rick. I mean, definitely. Damascotta, they've finalized their warrant for their town meeting, and so they met on May 6th, and so that's what's going on with there. Oh, they're going to merge. They're going to make a merger for the CLC ambulance.
Yeah, that's
they're
what
going to take the 5 towns
try
and
to
then
make one
some,
out of it, yeah.
and they're going to try to make one so that everybody pitches in. You know, that's probably the way to go for the future of the ambulance.
Well, it's kind of like the same idea as the sheriff's department.
Yeah.
Have a county, you know,
Yep.
I mean, a small scale.
Now, Newcastle, this is interesting. Newcastle, now, they are in the midst of taking bids. They're going to remodel their town office. And I don't know if it's coincidental that it's going to have physical separation. But anyway, it's going to be set up with windows, and the people will be behind the windows.
Yeah.
A lot of town offices are already like that.
They are.
You know?
And that's the wave of the future, you can be sure. Because I don't think this is going to be the end of this pandemic. We're going to see something coming down the road afterwards.
Now, Lincoln Home.
They had a big parade over there for the residents. Wasn't that nice, huh?
All the residents came out on the sidewalk, and what the families did, they met down at the Newcastle Fire Station and decorated their cars, made signs and all this. And
then you can order a mask up to LY's Fabric.
Yeah.
How about that, huh?
Yep, you can. Oops.
Yeah. Cool. Oh, what's going on? Barnhouse Grill over there. They're gonna have a little drive-in type thing. But nobody's on roller skates.
Well, I'll tell you, that could be the.
Could come back, Bobby.
That drive-in restaurant situation, that and food trucks.
Yeah.
I think those two could be the wave of the future.
Could
be.
So anyway, she was saying that no roller skates though.
Yeah.
I really kind of like that roller skate idea because see, I was just one generation behind the roller skates.
Oh yeah.
People that were teenagers in the late 50s, early 60s.
They invented sneakers.
They had invented the red ball sneakers came along. You know.
Yeah, I was driving through. You know, Wiscasset's got the white ribbon on all the trees and symbol of hope. And I was driving through. And I'm thinking, they're trying to save these trees? I thought, they don't trust the state. And I'm thinking to myself, don't touch those white ribbons. Don't cut any of those trees. But,
shoot. They're still they still got road construction going over there. They're making a parking lot there where the old Haggett Garage used to be.
Chewonki, of course, they're following the lead, and they're canceled their summer camps. And picture there, construction's still continuing over at the old Haggett Garage because they're making a parking lot over there on Water Street in Wiscasset. And
so
anyway.
That's going to be a big deal. I see Ames Supply, big stuff going on over there with all the spring chickens and hatchlings and stuff.
Yeah, how about Loa Wallace? Remember Loa was the manager?
I do, yeah.
Loa was the manager at
I knew
Rennie's.
his father.
Really?
Yeah, I knew Lowell's father.
Yeah, so he's a former Waldoboro selectman and Shellfish Committee chairman, and he's announced plans. He's going to run for District 91. And
but it doesn't say, is he a Democrat or a Republican?
I don't know.
I'm kind of thinking he might be a Democrat because his dad was a Democrat. I only know that because he lived right next door to me when I was a young man. He was very active in the Democrats. Well, that magnolia tree there.
Yeah, so that's right at the Waldoboro Historical Society.
Yeah.
That's interesting. They're gonna they've been, of course, when you have a gravel driveway, what happens? One of the side effects is the stones all end up on your lawn. So the Waldeboro Historical Society, they're going to get some volunteers to show up with rakes.
Yeah,
and they're going to rake the stones into the driveway. And the other thing is, good thing in Waldeboro, the selectmen are taking some part of their stipends to buy signs for the Madomic Valley High School class of 2020. And
how about that $1 million lottery winner over there, huh?
Yeah.
Kayla Lynn Hebert.
Yeah.
She held in the 50,000, 50 million?
Now, did you read this about Goose River Press, a small press that releases books? And so anyway, they're releasing a book, and Dan Coonan's book is called Presidential Spirits. And what's the book about is...
Dysfunctional polarization.
Okay, Dan Coonan's got a character that is the president. He goes into a saloon, and when he goes into the saloon, all the other presidents from the past are in the saloon. Now, that could make some interesting conversation over a beer.
Oh.
I think I might have to read that, Dan.
We ought to buy a book, a copy of it, send it down to Meet the Press, and let Chuck Todd read that. He may enjoy that.
Dan, you could take this thing. Let us run with this thing, will you?
Yeah, that'd be good. So anyway, moving right along. Yeah. So anyway,
even a library in Waldeboro is doing curbside stuff.
Yeah.
You don't realize everything's
going to be that way.
Everything's affected.
Waldeboro is going to have a public hearing on the hike in water rates.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, they haven't upped their rates in
how many years was it? Quite a few years,
15
wasn't it?
years or something.
Yeah.
So anyway,
the Noblesboro Central School teachers got praise from school officials for all their extra work they're doing. You know, if you're a teacher, a true teacher, you must be really frustrated. You know, you got kids that they need your service. You build that relationship.
Yep.
And then just have it stop like this.
Jefferson had a little spike in their education expenses. Of course, it all goes back to special ed. But anyway, they've been able to get some money from other places, so they don't see a tax hike really in Jefferson. I was reading throughout the paper, a lot of towns are preparing. They're trying to cover the fact that they feel that a lot of tax bills aren't going to get paid this year.
As they should.
Yeah, so they have to prepare. They're taking out lines of credit. They're taking money from other funds.
Well, Bob, we had Julie Kaiser in here last week, and she did a talk, and we were talking about school budgets and whatnot. Now, spring sports, people, you just stop and think about it a little bit. No spring sports going on. So for athletic departments that have to stipend so much money out for referees and official and bus transportation, that's all not going to be an expenditure this year. And it's a serious amount of money, Bobby.
Right.
When you have to have 3 or 4 referees or umpires for a baseball or a softball, 3 anyway, I would think, you're probably talking $200 per game. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these schools have got several games a night going on all spring. So, and she was talking about whether there's going to be any kickback or any cut in the funding or how that was all going to. It raises a lot of interesting questions.
Well, how about this? We have a lot of happiness in Alna.
So anyway, we got happiness in Alna.
Alna's loaded with happiness. Everybody's happy over there in Alna.
Well, why wouldn't they be? They got the Alna General Store.
Yeah, they got the Alna General Store. They got people like Tom Albee at Tillin Gardens and purchasing fertilizers. Jennifer Barton and Ann Simpson agreed to take over the garden for the summer. And there's a group over there called the Alna Cares Group.
There you go.
So anyway,
and everybody's happy.
The Westport, I'll tell you, Westport, they got a slick little thing there. They got this nice little ranch house, which is right at the town landing.
Yeah, they're going to make it a historical.
Yeah, and the town owns it. And so that's pretty cool. And Link County News, of course, they're always stepping up to the plate, and they're going to make sections for classes of 2020. I think they're going to print little booklets.
They're going to do like a 16-page color photo type thing.
Yep. Color
section.
Whitefield's going to open their town office on Monday, so they'll be taking some precautions.
Yeah. And once again, our buddy Glenn Chadbourne on the editorial page there with his cartoon. That's a good one,
That's
huh?
imagination.
That sure is.
You know, opening the door. He's got an arm from the state of Maine opening up the doorknob. And so anyway, so JW is saying that a lot of college graduates, you know, they're not going to have the job pool that normally is out in front of them. So he's saying, if you come
to
back
Lincoln
home,
County, come to Maine.
Work here. We'll get you a job.
Yeah.
Let's see. There was one.
I'm thinking, looking at this, you know, JW put out a thing last week, Bobby, 500 words per column. I think a few people went over the limit. I was not one of them, Bobby.
Yeah. There's a woman by the name of Linda Dobson from Bristol. She was in line. She was in line at Round Top Ice Cream, and people were getting impatient. And of course, one young fella figured out that they didn't take credit cards. So anyway, so he had to run back to the store. Meanwhile, the girl's holding his ice cream. And this Linda Dobson is saying that the lady in back of him, rather than give him a hard time, should have done a nice thing and paid for his ice cream as he was counting change.
Absolutely.
So anyway, that was
she took care of that
interesting.
situation.
How about this is interesting. Bristol, Damerscott, and Newcastle are following the lead of Waldoboro, who is ahead of the game on this. They're going to put in LED streetlights.
But I didn't understand that, Bobby. I thought it sounded like they were going to do a cooperative, and then down in the column, it looks like they separated and went back their own way.
Well, what I believe they did is they approached the company, Real Term Energy, and they're going to get a price on the lights for all the towns. And then they price each town. Because each town, there's quite a difference in the amount of street lights.
See, Bobby, that's why we have to read the paper together so you can explain it to me.
Yeah, well, see, Damerscott has more lights than Bristol.
Bristol,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Newcastle's going to have a fair amount going up through there.
Yes, they are.
Out the Mills Road and down the River Road there.
It's in here. If we could be very good proofreaders, we could find out that. Okay, here you go. The 41 streetlights in Bristol. So anyway, the 99 streetlights in Damerscott, and Newcastle has 40. So there's a trivia question for you. How many streetlights does Damerscott have? 99.
Yeah, $21,000 for Newcastle, $51,000 for Damerscott. I didn't even see what the Bristol one was. That doesn't matter. It don't matter. We got to keep. We only got 27.5 minutes here, Bob.
Yeah, the Escometti School, they're going to plan. They're planning their 6th grade.
They're going to have a graduation of some sort over there.
They're going to have it. They're going to have it with physical distancing. And I want to give a shout out to Marjorie Baldwin. A picture of her taken by Paula Roberts. She's on the side of the road in Oldborough on Center Street picking up trash.
You know, Friends of Colonial Pemaquid, they're going to do a summer program down there. I'm surprised.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want to give a quick shout out to my friend John Chapman. John Chapman passed away.
Passed away, yeah, I saw that.
People, they didn't say it in the obituary, but, in like 1988, when we were starting up with this Chamber of Commerce and all this stuff, John was very, very influential.
Very active.
And him and I hired the first executive director, a woman by the name of Barbara Tudor. Him and I were in agreement that she should be the first director. We had the first office up above the DB&T, and John was there from the beginning, and he was always my go-to guy, and so anyway, he'll be missed.
Bristol, what are they going to do down there with their air project? I missed that column. How did I miss that? Bristol School Committee, up to $30,000 for repair of the air handling system in Bristol.
Yeah, it's in the
air conditioning and
it's in the section of the younger students, and so anyway, it's important. So anyway, it takes the stale, what they call stale air, and it takes it out of the building and brings in fresh air.
Bristol Area Lions Club, they've offered some scholarships out there. Midcoast Conservancy, they're going to do some resources at home education.
Yeah, South Bristol School, they're going ahead as planned for the next school year, and they got a registration for pre-K.
Yeah, both Bristol and South Bristol,
Yep.
Bobby.
Yep. Let's see the local banks, they donated to New Hope for Women, which is a
Domestic violence
yeah,
type
it's
thing.
a very silent program, but very important.
Yeah.
The Bremen has applied for their high-speed internet grant, and Tidewater Telecom, another kudos to them. They're going to hook them up.
They're going to help bring high-speed internet to every home in Bremen.
Yeah,
Good
the grant is in the amount of $120,000, and so anyway, the project is like $600,000. But anyway, 80%.
And 80% of it's going to be private investment by Tidewater.
Yeah. So.
Whew. This internet is a big deal.
Yes, it is.
Bristol, they're negotiating now. They got a snow plowing issue down there because
yes, they do.
Holmes, O.W. Holmes, who's done it forever, they've finally decided they're tired of plowing.
Yep.
Stephanie and Russie down there, and they've had the Hager boys come in, and the price was a little bit higher than they wanted, and so they've renegotiated. They'll get it down. I'll bet they'll get it down reasonable.
Yep.
You know, and
boy, how many places can the Hagers be? And now,
I don't know.
I read they're bidding on the Wiscasset Airport project.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Pemaquid Falls Farm, never heard of it.
Nope.
I guess it's right on 130.
Online
And,
farmers market type deal.
Yep. So anyway, you can just go there and
Local produce and.
a couple of New Harbor residents. They've been Chuck Farrell and Mark Zarnick. They're going to fill the couple board vacancies on the Historical Society down there.
Yeah,
Old
that
Bristol.
Zarnick there, he's been here, coming here for 30 years.
Yeah, he's on the. So they'll be filling in slots in the Old Bristol Historical Society.
Dredge
The,
and Preserve, that's up there. They got some stuff going on up there as part of the Lincoln County Trail. Little League's not sure they're going to open up. Mid-Coast Babe Ruth, they've hung up the bats for the season.
Paula Roberts, of course, she finds these preserves. She knows all about these preserves. This one is the Dresden Preserve in Dresden.
There was an interesting story, being a sports nut that I am, this L.A. Senior there, Tiger Cummins, wrote about some of his favorite players in baseball cards. And Roberto Clemente, he was always one of my favorite players as a kid growing up. And, of course, so tragically killed way back in the 70s.
So we've got bad news in our neighborhood in Damascotta Mills is the selectmen have voted to not have the fish ladder open.
You know, Bobby, we ought to do a Wuzzup show at the fish this year. We ought to do one up there.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Maybe next week or the week after, because we've only got a couple of weeks. The LYs will be here. So if next Thursday's good,
we'll coordinate that when they're dipping them and the lobster.
The news. We can skip the news.
Yeah,
for a
we
week
did when Mike Christopher used to be the cameraman. When we used to go out originally when Wuzzup started. I'll tell you, it was one of the best shows we ever did. It's a action-packed segment.
Yeah.
So a picture of Lee Giberson. She's the cook up at Camp Kiev. She's cooking for the Lincoln County Food Initiative. And Jack Vessery's got a follow-up on his bluebird picture of last week. I was blown away with his bluebird picture of last week. Now he's got a new one that's got the mother and the father, and he's saying that there's baby bluebirds.
Red bird spotted.
Yep.
A golden crowned sparrow. Imagine that.
Seen one of them?
I never have, Bubba.
Yeah.
Wouldn't know one if I saw it, I guess.
No. You see this 12-year-old gal, she has had a heart of gold ever since she was born. She was adopted. Her name is Yuji Smith, and she lives in Edgecombe. And even at the age of 10, she requested birthday donations for an organization called One Sky. It's One Sky trains caregivers to provide love and support to orphan children. I mean, and now she's working for a organization that takes care of cats, rehabilitates cats.
You love to see a kid like that gets involved because you just know they're going to spend the rest of their life being involved with good staff.
And a lot of these farms are getting their emergency grants, which is a cool thing.
Bobby, we're down to less than 2 minutes here.
Really?
We haven't even got the second section in. Miss Quahog delivered to Hapswell lobster fishermen. New boat out of the Farron's boat shop down there.
Yep.
How about that?
Yeah, and the Waldo Theater got a grant.
They did.
Yep.
Although they didn't get as much as the other people.
No,
I was a
they
little
didn't.
disappointed about that.
I was too, but
We're
well,
going to do a show over there too.
Yep.
So anyway,
Well, anyway.
Karen
Ann Hager,
We've
you
dedicated.
like the expression "well, anyway"? Well, I'm going to give you your birthday present, and it's well, anyway. Karen Ann, Larry, and I would like to wish you a happy birthday.
We've dedicated this show. Well, anyway, we've dedicated this show to Karen Ann.
Yeah, and we don't know how old you are, and we don't care.
Well, anyway, we don't care.
Yeah.
She's a gorgeous young lady, and we enjoy her and enjoy having her part of the
we
the
appreciate
community.
all you do. So.
Oh, I haven't told you folks a Karen Ann Hager story. A quick one is she called me the other day, and I get this phone call from, and I see it's Karen Ann on my phone, and I say, yes. She says, Larry, I just knew right then there was a deal. She has worked with Jess Bright up down to the Lincoln Health there, and they've got 22,000 pounds. That's a half a trailer truckload of food we're picking up tomorrow, Friday, in Augusta, bringing it to my shop, and it's going to be dispersed in the county. So there's well, anyway, Bobby, there's a Karen Ann Hager story.
Yep.
We're going to leave it at that. Been great, folks. We'll see you next time with Wuzzup. He's Bobby Whear. I'm Larry Sidelinger, Dave Swin, the gang behind the camera. We bring it to you every Thursday night right here at LCTV. See you next time.